Arrangements currently are being made to deliver Kohberger back to Idaho, where he can have continued due process and face these charges.
Pennsylvania State Police giving an update on the next steps for the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 6 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Whitney has the evening off. 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger has waived his extradition, which means he'll be brought to Idaho to face 4 murder charges and 1 burglary charge. A WSU criminology graduate student is accused of killing the 4 students in their off-campus home a little more than 7 weeks ago. We bring you complete team coverage tonight. Our Janelle Finch has more on what happened in the courtroom today as the suspect faced a judge. Nicole Hernandez breaks down new body camera footage of the suspect behind the wheel of a white Hyundai Elantra. Shannon Mowdy spoke with Eastern Washington's prosecuting attorney on the process of prosecuting such a case of this magnitude. And finally, our Amanda Rowley is taking a look into questions that we still have about the case. But first, we want to head down to Moscow, where according to police, the suspect has 10 days to be brought to Idaho. So that means he could be here as soon as tomorrow or the end of next week. Our Kyle Simchuk joining us live in Moscow tonight as we wait for his arrival. Kyle?
Well, Kohberger's new home will be at the Latah County Jail right behind me once he's brought back to Moscow. But of course, the 28-year-old still thousands of miles in Pennsylvania. And Mark, as you mentioned, he could be brought back as early as tomorrow, but a judge says that extradition will happen within at least 10 days. So the big question now is how and when will Kohberger be brought back? Authorities tonight telling KREM 2 News that they're keeping that information a secret, citing security concerns. But as we've said, Kohberger could be here as early as tomorrow. And once he does return, he'll have an initial court appearance. And that's when that probable cause affidavit of facts will be released. And that'll be a treasure trove of information showing exactly what authorities, what evidence they've gathered in the house and what evidence they say they have against Kohberger. And once he makes that court appearance, KREM 2 will obviously be here. But today in Pennsylvania, he did tell a judge that he's not taking any medications and that his decision to voluntarily return to Moscow, that's his own decision. So we'll certainly be keeping an eye on when he returns. Send it back to you.
Kyle, live in Moscow tonight. Kyle, thank you very much. And today, Bryan Kohberger, the man suspected of killing 4 University of Idaho students, made his first court appearance. Kohberger and his attorney appeared before a judge at the Monroe County Courthouse. KREM 2's Janelle Finch joining us live in the studio tonight to tell us more about what happened in the courtroom and what's next for the suspected killer. Janelle?
Mark, since Kohberger was identified as a suspect in the Moscow murder investigation, the world has been watching for his next move. Today, he appeared in Pennsylvania court, where he waived his extradition hearing. Now begins the process of getting Kohberger to Idaho. Bryan Kohberger, donning a bulletproof vest under a red jail jumpsuit, walked into the Monroe County Courthouse today. Here, he and his attorney stood in front of a judge and waived his extradition. Doing this puts the wheels in motion to get Kohberger to Idaho, where he'll face first-degree murder and burglary charges. WNEP, our sister station in Pennsylvania, was in the courtroom where no cameras were allowed. They report every seat was filled, and Kohberger's family was in the front row. A CBS News correspondent says Kohberger remained stoic and calm, while his mother and sister sobbed through the hearing. Following his first courtroom appearance, Pennsylvania State Police hosted a press conference to share more details on Kohberger's arrest.
Tactical assets were then staged in the county, in Monroe County, into the evening of Thursday, December 29th, last Thursday. And in the early hours of Friday, December 30th, those warrants were executed at the location. Mr. Kohberger was taken into custody without incident.
Officials say they understand the public wants to be informed, but sharing certain information could interfere with the court system's due process.
We're trying to balance essentially 2 things: the public's desire for information against the need to maintain the integrity of the investigation and protect the suspects, accused at this point's due process.
Upon waiving his extradition, court order says Kohberger will be in Idaho within the next 10 days. But as his Pennsylvania public defender told our sister station, Kohberger could be in Idaho as early as tonight or tomorrow. Following today's press conference, law enforcement says travel arrangements are being made. Moscow police say that they're keeping these details quiet for security reasons. In the studio, Janelle Finch, KREM KREM 2 News.
All right, Janelle, thank you very much. And new tonight, we have video connecting the Hyundai Elantra Idaho police were looking for to the suspected murderer. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez has body camera footage tonight from a traffic stop with the suspect and chilling new details about the car's history. Nicole?
So you can actually see the trooper pull up and approach the car. Then you see Bryan Kohberger in the driver's seat right here just for a half a second. Quickly, the officer moves, leans down, and then obstructs the view of the camera there. There is another person in the driver's seat that we know is Kohberger's dad, but we are keeping him anonymous. Again, quickly, that officer does lean down, blocking the camera's view. But what's important to note is the date in the top right corner of this video from December 15th. That is 8 days after the Moscow Police Department started asking the public for information about a white Hyundai Elantra. And this new body camera footage is the second time law enforcement pulled over the suspected killer in the same day. Just minutes before, a deputy from Hancock County Sheriff's Department had stopped Kohberger and his dad. In a statement from Indiana State Police, they say the trooper did not have information on Kohberger at the time or the license plate number of the car Idaho detectives were looking for. And we also have a second angle from this traffic stop. That's right here. This is from the trooper's dash camera. From this, we were able to read the license plate on that white Hyundai Elantra. I used that license plate number to find the car's VIN number in an online database. Then with that VIN number, I found the car's Carfax, and that's what we're looking at right here. This shows the most recent owner bought the vehicle in 2019 in Pennsylvania, and then in 2020, just about a month later, registered that car in Pennsylvania as well. The owner then re-registered the car, got it serviced a few times since then. Then on November 18th of this year, right here is when we see the owner re-registered the car in Pullman, Washington to get Washington plates. That happened again November 18th, 2022, just 5 days after Kohberger allegedly stabbed all 4 students. We did reach out to the Washington Department of Licensing to confirm Kohberger is the one who is registered to this car. We have not heard back yet, but we do know he was the one driving the Elantra in that Indiana State Body Police camera footage. In studio, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Nicole, thank you very much. In our commitment to bring you more to every story, KREM 2's Shannon Mounty continues our team coverage tonight by digging deeper into a case of this magnitude. Shannon is live outside the federal courthouse in downtown Spokane after learning more about the legal process. Shannon?
I sat down with the U.S. District Attorney for Washington's Eastern District, Vanessa Waldrop, just to talk generally about prosecuting a case like this, one that is so high profile. Now, Waldrop says that cases like this that are large and complex, they can take some time to prosecute because the investigating doesn't stop once that arrest is made. And prosecutors actually work with investigators from right at the beginning, even before a suspect is identified. Waldrop says they treat every case, regardless of the public attention on it, as serious.
High-profile cases often are in the news, and people really are passionate about wanting to know more information. But honestly, we take every case equally seriously, and we'll be running down evidence and making sure there's a thorough investigation and viable prosecution on any case that we want to move forward with. And for every victim, every case is a high-profile case.
Now, Waldrop says that those cases take a long time, not only because they are still investigating and investigators and the prosecutors want to make sure that they can provide a complete case to an impartial jury, but also on the defense side so that they have time to put their evidence and review all the evidence and provide a fair trial for the defendant. Live in Spokane, Shannon Mounty, KREM 2 News.
All right, Shannon, thank you very much. And there are still a lot of questions surrounding the latest developments in this quadruple homicide investigation. So we continue our team coverage with KREM 2's Amanda Rowley tonight. She is live in the newsroom with what we're still tracking right now. Amanda?
Well, Mark, it's now been 7 weeks since 4 University of Idaho students were found stabbed to death in their Moscow home near the university campus. Now, with the arrest of a murder suspect, this brings up even more questions than before. So here are the top big 10 questions we're tracking right now. First off, motive. What is the motive behind the murder of the 4 students? What is the suspect's connection to the 4 U of I students? Are police looking for additional suspects or accomplices? How many other DNA profiles were found at the crime scene? What are the tips or evidence that led police to the suspect? What is the murder weapon? When will the cleanup at that crime scene begin? It was paused by the court. Details about the suspect's car. We want to know, will it be brought back to Moscow from Pennsylvania? What items belonging to the suspect did law enforcement seize? And when will the next Moscow Police Department press conference be? These are just some of the most pressing questions surrounding this case, which is why we continue to call on Moscow PD to share the latest details. Now, just minutes ago, Moscow PD sent out a press release saying because of a court order, a recent one just filed, the Moscow Police Department will no longer be communicating with the public or media about this case. Now, we're going to flesh out what this means and keep you posted. But in the meantime, today we also learned the search warrant for Bryan Kohberger's student apartment is now sealed. We obtained copies of the court order to seal it, and that order says it was sealed partly because of a serious and imminent threat to the privacy of witnesses, victims, and victims' families. The search warrant won't be unsealed until March. Now, we also know, based on the timeline released by Moscow PD, two of the students, it's Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves, went to the Corner Club in downtown Moscow the night before their death. There's been speculation that Kohberger was at that very same bar. But yesterday, the Corner Club tweeted this: "Suspect was not and has not been here. No one was removed from the bar the evening of the incident. Stop calling us." While numerous questions surrounding this case are still left unanswered, we remain diligent in tracking this information. Now, we do expect to learn some details once the probable cause documents are filed in Latah County. Reporting in the newsroom, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you very much. The news that Kohberger will soon be in Idaho comes as the community continues to remember the 4 University of Idaho students whose lives were cut short. Those 4 students were 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, a freshman from Conway, Washington, Xana Kernodle, a junior from Post Falls, and 21-year-old Madison Mogan, a senior from Coeur d'Alene. Xana and Madison worked together at a restaurant in downtown Moscow, and 21-year-old Kaylee Gonsalves, a senior from Rathdrum, Idaho. She was a sorority member and had already lined up a job for after graduation. A little more than a month ago, a vigil was held for the victims where their parents spoke about the love they had for their children.
We are eternally grateful that we spent so much time with him. And I want to remind you that that's the most important message that we have for you and your families, is to make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people, because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
I'm so glad that she got to just have at least a little taste of what it's like to be in love with someone. And yeah, he's just a really great guy. And they treated each other the way you're supposed to. And yeah, I was really proud to just call him my daughter's boyfriend. And maybe someday, maybe they would have gotten married, you know. It seemed like it, at least.
It's a shame, and it hurts. But the beauty of the two always being together is something that it comforts us. It lets us know that they were with their best friends in the whole world. It's like a book. It's like some kind of terrible chapter, but there's beauty in it, and we're going to get our justice. We're going to figure this stuff out. This community deserves that.
Well, this continues to be a developing story, and we will bring you updates as soon as we learn more. Coming up at 6:30 tonight, we'll hear from locals in Pennsylvania about the significance of today's hearing being held in their city. In the meantime, for all of our coverage on this story, you can text us the word Idaho to 509-448-2000, and we'll send that link directly to your phone.